Good morning, viewers. We're just at about 7:30 a.m. this morning, and welcome back to Tobago Updates Morning Show, coming to you here live from the Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. In this segment, we are chatting with Dexter Sandy, the interim president of the Tobago October Carnival Association, TOCA. Good morning to you and welcome.
Hi, Julien. Morning, and morning to your viewers.
All right. Well, as we continue the conversation, because I know this has been a very busy time for you and the entire team, we want to just get a sense of where we at in relation to our readiness for the big day, or the big days, I should say, for Tobago Carnival 2023.
Well, TOCA is ready. We just concluded the band house at Shore Park, and as we advertised for the past 2 weeks, the band house would have been the grounds to come and purchase your costume from any band leader or any band that you're thinking about playing with. So we concluded that last Saturday at Shore Park, that bands now have gone back to their original band houses, whether it be down on the western side, on the eastern side of Tobago. And we're really in production mode. Some band sections have been sold out already. There are a few that still have a couple available. So I would say to anybody thinking about playing mass, now is the time to still head on out to the mass camps and see what last minute deals there are. Don't wait till the week of Carnival to look for a last minute deal. Right now is the last minute deal period, right? Production has started for a lot of bands, and I know distribution actually will be taking place the week of Carnival.
All right. I know when we spoke about this initially, the concept of this band house was something relatively new in terms of various bands coming together. People might naturally be accustomed to that. I stay in my area, I stay in my space, I try to secure my sales. How did that work from the standpoint of how you define the success of the initiative?
Well, we would consider it a success. First time venture, and we had just about 11 bands actively participating at any one time in the band house, and that's a wide array of Juve, night mass, and pretty mass bands would have been participating. And there were others who would have participated via online, because the Welcome Tobago shop portal was open, and for a period of time, other bands were able to now sell their costumes via the online portal. In all, right now, the figures indicate about 350 to 400 costumes sold. So it's really a spike in sales, given the initiative, and that's why we want to call it a success.
Yes.
Bands were really able to move an additional batch of costumes through this initiative, and the band leaders, you've been hearing them say, thanks for this initiative. TOCA really represented, and the formation of TOCA, we really see the value in forming TOCA for this year.
Ultimately, I'm happy to see that people are seeing the benefit towards coming together and working collectively. Tell us a little bit about TOCA's participation as well within the consultations. Quite recently, we heard the ACP and the technical advisor out in the Secretary's office speaking to consultations happening to ensure that greater inclusion of stakeholders are involved in the Tobago October Carnival. Tell us a little bit about TOCA's input there.
Well, from the get-go, TOCA has been invited to all the consultations, and we have attended all. Whether it be hosted by ACP Hazel or Dr. Thomas, we have attended all, and our input was valued. So we're seeing where all the stakeholders right now on the same page. We shouldn't have any confusion on the day where police has a certain directive, fire has a directive, and the mass has a directive, and we're operating in silos. We should not see that happening at all. We're all on the same page. We understand what is to take place from Juve morning 4 a.m. right until midnight Sunday night.
All right. The offerings that are coming from the various bands, and so people will get those details out of their respective band houses. But your feel in relation to the route and these things that have been agreed to this time around? Yeah,
so the route has been confirmed. That's the information that was given to us because the proclamation was passed. So the proclamation period starts at 4 a.m. on the Saturday for the Juve. And the Juve route, similar to the Pretty Mass route, it will commence at Shore Park, and we will head out onto the Claude Noel Highway, come straight down Light and Life, Wilson Road traffic lights, and back into town, come down on the Old Milford Road. So that will be the route for Juve and for the Pretty Mass. The night mass, which is on Saturday night, and the traditional mass on Sunday morning, they will take the route from the Coast Guard base along the Old Milford Road, come into Scarborough, make the right by Market Square, and loop around on Garden Side Street and head back down on Milford Road. So they have that circuit to operate. Very similar again with the bands on Sunday. And for Juve, once they start on time, you have that circuit to go as many times as you can. So really encouraging the bands to come out early, masqueraders, your starting points, your band leaders are going to see where exactly is your starting point. The road on Sunday is open from 9 a.m. The road on Saturday is open from 4 a.m. Come out early, enjoy the festivities.
All right. Your hopes ultimately, in terms of the activities now being centered in Scarborough, as part of that rejuvenation and, hoping to bring back to the capital what it once enjoyed as Tobago's celebration for Carnival overall. What are your hopes based on the plans that have been laid out?
I'm really hoping that Scarborough really flows smoothly in terms of logistics. I'm really hoping that the setup in terms of what the THA is going to do on that Milford Road, that it really brings out the beauty of that stretch and incorporates the waterfront, right? Because that's what we have as a natural element there, and we really need to take advantage of it. It's one of the few places, I think it's one of two, where a masquerader can parade in a costume along a waterfront. So we really need to take advantage of that, make sure the optics are captured so we can market this carnival, because it is a carnival that can be reckoned with across the world. I mean, somebody who wants to leave the region to go to Miami, it will cost them X amount of dollars, right? It could cost them as much as 1,500 US to do that. But if it is you consider Tobago as an option in October, it may cost you about 500, 600 US. So it may be that a couple may be able to travel in that 1,500 and come to Tobago and enjoy the festivities here versus one person paying to go to Miami. So we really need to market our product. I think we have it within us. So let's get it done. Let's show the world that Tobago is the place to be the last weekend in October.
Certainly, and it always reckons with me since we started last year. I'm a lover of soca and my Carnival season, and that concept of hoping that Tobago builds to the point where Trinidad and Tobago can be promoted jointly as the beginning and the end for the entire year of Carnival celebrations. We get started in Trinidad and you close off the Carnival celebrations for the year in Tobago. Any plans in terms of Toca? I know that the formation came out of the Tobago October Carnival, but hopes in terms of contributing, when we have the National Carnival as well, particularly in terms of the happenings in Tobago?
Well, yes, Toca is available in terms of any consultations to give our lessons learned out of October to help to enhance the National in February. In terms of the Band Leaders Association for February, as a separate entity, and I know pretty soon they're going to be having elections, right? So I know that structure will maintain and they will run in terms of all the bands that are participating in February. Now, there are some bands in October that will participate in February, so they will align with that entity and make sure that the best practices are carried over. But I think all in all, the band leaders right now have the right mindset. We're making the best of what we have, and we're trying to improve on it. And I think once we show that, and we continue along that pathway, the THA will then support us even more. They announced a budget of about just $12.5 million. We're still waiting to see how they're allocating it. But I'm pretty certain once we show organization as band leaders, we will get that level of support that we're looking for.
All right, excellent. Any additional information you'd want to share before we close this morning's interview?
Well, I know the bands, we are all ready. I've been making the rounds, chatting with band leaders. As it is right now, based on the registration count by the end of this weekend, we will start to now cluster the bands, because we have been speaking about clustering the bands to ensure that we, in terms of the numbers behind the music trucks, we don't look scattered. We don't have a truck fest as we had last year. So we're working on that right now. Once the bands are clustered and we have a number system, everybody will be notified. And from there is we show up on the road, Juve morning and the Sunday morning.
As you speak clusters behind the band, very quickly, tell us the response between those onlookers enjoying the festivities, wanting to get into the mix? Tell us, how do you see that working, or the levels of control? Or
Well,
what's your advice to the general, the
well,
general populace versus the paid masquerader?
I would say to the person who is planning to unlock right now, go find a band. You know, bands have a lot of deals. Even if you don't want to purchase a full costume because you can't afford it, I've seen some bands actually offering a roadwear option and an armband, which is a bit more affordable on the pocket. Now is the time, because on the day, on the road, bands are going to have road marshals who will have rope management around the band, so it's to keep out the intruders. The masqueraders have the right to the road, so they will be able to masquerade and free up themselves, because they paid for that. They want to enjoy it. The onlookers, we're asking you, find a spot, a vantage viewpoint, and look on. But you still have time from now. If it is you feel you want to get into it, now is the time to get registered with a band. Even Mud is Life, spoke with them a couple of weeks ago, and you know, traditionally persons would look for the Mud Mass band and try to slip in. Mud is Life has even said, listen, from Tuesday morning, you have to purchase your package. You purchase your package, you join the band, and you enjoy the benefits
Correct.
of having paid for your package.
All right.
Yeah.
Estimated range and cost. I'm seeing a message coming in here on WhatsApp. Estimated cost range for participation in bands. I know it will vary from band to band, but what's the approximate cost
So
at
I've
this
seen
point?
Juve bands with packages from as low as $450 to as high as $750. Right. I mean, the packages vary because there are different elements that would make up what you're going to get. So Juve bands, I've seen $450, $750. The night mass, just about the same, right? Pretty affordable. In terms of the pretty mass, I've seen bands from 1,100 to as high as I think it's 3,600, right? And it depends on the costume that you want to build. Understanding that you have the option, as a man, we have it easy. You could purchase the package and this comes with the pants
Yes.
and the armband, right? But understand that we as bands, we're putting out a lot for you on the day. We have to cover security. We have to cover your food. We have to cover your beverage for the entire 11 hours, because basically you're entitled to a beverage for 11 hours. That's a lot of drinking.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that's why the package prices are where they're at, to make sure that we can cover and fulfill everything that we plan to offer.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much there, Dexter Sandy, interim president of the Tobago October Carnival Association, providing us with that update. Certainly a clear indication that Toka is ready and has been involved every step of the way. And yes, I see some persons joining on the live. Caswell Gordon, yes, I know this is your time. I know this is our time. You're going to enjoy yourself fully. And to all those others connecting with us, I see Edson Moses in the mix as well. Yes, it's Tobago Carnival that we're talking and looking forward. The admonition, make sure and ensure that you get involved in a band if you know that is where you want to be. And I love the fact that there's the caterings as well, even for packages, some giving the opportunity you can just get your band and have the basics in terms of participating at a lower cost. Certainly looking out for those opportunities. Connect with a band today to ensure that you are also a part of those festivities as we head out onto the streets for Tobago October Carnival 2023. Viewers, we want to thank you so much for continuing to choose the Tobago Updates morning show. We're going to be heading out to a break, and to remind you that this is your opportunity to share the live, share the live, share the live.